final quarter begins right now.
What a day, what a day, what a day to be recording the final quarter on CBS 8+. That is John Howard. I am Jake Garriani. As we record, there are about 13 minutes left in Major League Baseball's trade deadline, and A.J. Preller has gone nuclear once again as he changes this entire outlook of the season for the San Diego Padres. John Howard, it all started a little after 8 a.m. this morning when he made the move at the time of the deadline, acquiring the flamethrower Mason Miller and J.P. Sears from the Athletics for the Padres' #1 overall prospect, Leo Dallas DeVries. Here is a look at that full trade on paper. John, let's react to these trades one at a time, and then we'll kind of go big picture. Your thoughts right here, my friend.
Well, first of all, now there's 12 minutes remaining before the trade deadline, which is enough time for AJ to make 12 more trades.
No kidding. No kidding.
He's like a kid in a candy store with a fresh $50 bills. There's a lot of stuff on the shelves, and he's grabbing for them. This particular trade, I like it. Two things I love about it. They improve themselves. Mason Miller, holy mackerel, he's a flamethrower. I don't know if he drinks Fireball whiskey, but you can call him a fireballer. 100 miles an hour consistently and a rock-solid closer. And J.P. Sears, what I like about both of them, they're controllable for another 2-3 years. So Miller can stick around on the team till 2029 and J.P. Sears till 2028. And that's what I really like about it. They will not only help this year's team, but they can help in future years as well. Giving up Leo DeVries and 3 other prospects. I mean, Leo DeVries, okay, we're going to whine and cry if 3 years from now DeVries is another Fernando Tatis Jr. But how often are there #3 prospects in the league that come and become a Fernando Tatis Jr.? Not very often. I think it's worth the gamble. Overall, I like this particular trade by AJ.
Yeah, and look, there's so much to break down with this trade, but let's start on the Padres side of it. And when you think about what Mason Miller is, for this season in particular, the bullpen is the best in baseball. And what it does is shorten the games for the Padres. Now you're asking your starters to go, if 4 innings, if you got a lead after 4 innings, almost lock it down as a victory when you talk about Morihone, Estrada, Adam, Suarez, and now Mason Miller, who averages 101 miles on his fastball. I mean, this changes the whole dynamic of the way the Padres do business when you go into a game and you have a bullpen like that. Not to mention, I think J.P. Sears is going to be forgotten about in this trade, at least in the moment, until he starts pitching for the Padres. But that's a left-handed arm. It's a reliable arm. It's a guy that's going to go out there and do pretty well, it seems like, every 5 days for the Padres, or however they want to handle the pitching staff now, because we'll get into what happened to that in just a moment. On the Leo Dallas DeVries side of it, John, I think, kind of like you mentioned, look, prospects are prospects until proven otherwise. I understand why people are bummed that their #1 prospect and the #3 prospect in all of baseball is leaving the team. But so what? What are we going to do? Wait around for 3 years in hope? Hope this guy turns into an all-star? Hope this guy is a generational talent? Or we get proven talent that helps a team win right now. And then my biggest gripe about all of this for people that were losing their mind about this trade is, John, given the roster the Padres have, where Manny Machado's at, where Fernando Tatis Jr. is at, where Xander Bogaerts is at, all of the things, Yu Darvish, this team needs to go after it now and try and win now. Padre fans should be thankful. They have a general manager like A.J. Preller that is doing the best he possibly can to try and win a World Series. Am I saying that works out? I don't know, but are they a lot closer to winning a World Series than they were a day ago? Heck yeah, that's for sure. And to me, I think that's the overall picture of that first trade. Like, that's what that did. That's what that said. And then, of course, he was just getting started, right? I mean, it only kept going after that. The second trade of the day addressed one of the biggest needs that everyone's been crying about, including myself, and that is a catcher. Look, Freddie Fermin isn't going to be the sexiest move of all time, but Johnny improves offensively behind the plate. He improves what the Padres have defensively behind the plate. He's controllable once again through the year 2029. and the guy is hitting 268, which is a massive upgrade, or he's a career 268 hitter, which is a massive upgrade from what the Padres have behind the plate. They do give up those two starters that I know Padre fans have come to like. Ryan Bergert, plenty of upside. But again, I just think it's a move that helps this team immediately right now.
Yeah, when you look at the current Padres catchers, Diaz and Maldonado, they're hitting 202 and 204 respectively. You had to get a bat. We knew we needed bats. And here they improved themselves dramatically. Like you mentioned, Jake, a career 268 hitter. He's currently hitting 255, over 270 last year. And he's a guy that's going to improve the offensive production behind the plate. My only complaint on this trade, I don't know that you had to lose two starting pitchers to get Freddie Fermin. Bergert with a 2.78 ERA. That wasn't enough for the Royals? Come on. To also give up Stephen Kolek, who's shown a lot of good promise, 56 strikeouts in his 14 starts. That was a little bit of a bummer. So I don't like losing two starting pitchers to bring in Freddie Fermin, especially when you look deeper into the Padres farm system. You've got Ethan Salas, who's going to be coming up, in another year or 2 years? So now you've got Freddie Fermin, Maldonado, and Diaz behind the plate. Three guys, two of the three will probably be gone in a couple of years once Salas is able to come up and take over his role as the catcher of the future for the Padres.
And the thing about it is, I think Maldonado and Diaz are gone after this season. I think Maldonado's probably gone here really soon if I had to pick between Diaz and Maldonado, who sticks around with Fermin. Yep. And then the Salas thing, he might be gone in 7 minutes, John. I don't know. But the Salas thing is you never know with these prospects how they're going to do when they get there. We've touched on all that before. And I know people are a little bit worried about the depth of the starting pitching staff. That's fine. That's a little bit understandable. But I still think the staff, even after you lose Bergert, who, yes, I agree with you, is a big hit. Bergert looked like he had a lot of upside, but sometimes you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. The Kolek thing, it is what it is, unfortunately. But look at this starting rotation and put him in whatever order you want for the rest of the year. You get a guy like Nick Pivetta, okay? You got a guy like Yu Darvish. You got a guy like Dylan Cease, as long as he hangs on for the next 7 minutes. You got Randy Vasquez, who now really only needs to go 4 innings. And then you add in Sears. All of a sudden, that's a pretty nasty staff. And oh, by the way, Michael King looks well on his way back. And as we sit here with 6 minutes to go, we have more breaking news coming to you right now that the Padres are acquiring Nestor Cortez from the Brewers. So we'll see where he fits in. Maybe a bullpen piece, maybe a spot start guy. Sounds like he's getting moved for Brandon Lockridge. All this is coming down as we're recording this, which is fantastic. You get live reaction that you get to then go back on in a week and make fun of us for. But let's move on to the third trade as we go down the line here. Now, this deal, as we were coming on air, was not done. I'll add to the receive side of the Orioles in just a minute. But this is the one, John, that everyone was anticipating. Had to go and get offense. It's what A.J. Preller did. Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano really tearing the cover off the ball this year. Now, these two are pretty much rentals. Laureano does have control through next year. Ryan O'Hearn, a complete rental. But just look at the stats of what they're doing. Now you have a guy that can DH and play first with Luis Arraez, who may be platoon there. You got a guy in Laureano who can platoon with Sheets. He's a right-handed hitter, and Laureano, Sheets lefty. To me, John, A.J. Preller addressed every single need the fans asked for during this deadline. I'm going to let you talk, and then I'll update that graphic here because there is more to it.
Okay, very good. Leaving this graphic up, when the first two trades of the day were made, getting the pitchers in, getting a catcher in, I was still yapping to Jake and Karthik. Where are the bats? We still need bats. This is a team that went 24 straight shutout innings last year in the playoffs to get eliminated from the postseason, and they've shown spurts this year of lack of scoring. We needed bats, and this trade brought them in. Ryan O'Hearn, holy mackerel, he was the American League starting DH for the All-Star team this year, which is fantastic, batting .283. And Ramon Laureano batting .290. Are you kidding me? Those are rock-solid averages you want to see up and down your lineup. So I love what A.J. Preller brought in here in regards to offensive support, losing Boston Bateman and Brandon Butterworth. Throw him on some pancakes. He can go over and serve the Orioles breakfast. And I know Jake says more prospects headed to Baltimore. We're going to hear about those in a half a second. But I love the fact that some offense has been brought in because for more than a year now, this team has gone through hitting slumps, scoring slumps, or lack of hitting with runners in scoring position that just kills them. And this year, a ton of one-run victories. You don't want to be greedy, but let's be greedy. Let's have 2, 3, 4-run victories. One-run victories are great, but you can't survive on those, as those can flip the other way in a hurry.
And the thing about it is, A.J. Preller just really extended this Padres lineup, which was super, super top heavy. We've talked about it all year long. The bottom of the lineup has been killing this Padres offense. They still won 60 games with that old lineup, and now it has been extended with so much depth. Now you have almost too many bats. That's not a real thing, but you have so many bats to work with. You have so many pieces to work with. It, to me, again, I said it already, but it answered every single hole that this roster had. Here's a stat from A.J. Casville of MLB.com. In 2020, the Padres GM A.J. Preller made 6 trades involving 26 players, which was a record over a 3-day span. Today alone, he has made 5 trades involving 21 players. You love it all, and now you're looking at the standings right there. This is why he's being so aggressive. The Padres are 3 games back of the Los Angeles Dodgers for the lead in the division. I've said it on the show so many times. I don't want to sound like a broken record. Nobody ever thought the Padres would be in this position this many games, 109 games into the year. And just to finally update you on that Baltimore Orioles trade, Boston Bateman again was the big piece there. That the Padre fans will recognize him, the big 6'8" lefty. The other pieces were Cobb Hightower, Victor Figueroa, Tanner Smith, Brandon Butterworth, as we had on the graphic, and Tyson Neighbors. So there you are. You're all caught up on what is the trade deadline closing in 1 minute and 45 seconds. And again, John, you look at the NL West standings. It feels really within reach now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think at the All-Star break, if I'm not mistaken, Padres were 5.5 back. Not totally certain on that. But when they were 5.5 back, I started turning my attention to where the Padres were in the wild card standings. I was kind of giving up on the division standings. But after today's moves, you're just 3 games back. The National League West Division Championship is very much alive. And I haven't heard a whole lot of brewing going on from the Dodgers general manager. I love what A.J. Preller's done. 5 trades today, as you said, involving 21 players. Meanwhile, I think the Dodgers are standing pat with who they have and hoping that some healing goes on in their lineup to get stronger through the end of the season. But right now, with all these trades and the way the roster has been bolstered, 3 games back for the division title, that is very much in reality.
Yeah, and the Dodgers made a move here. They got Alex Call from Washington, but I think the big thing the Dodgers are doing is sitting pat, as you mentioned. Mostly, they got another arm, by the way, but in mostly just going, look, we need to get healthy. Clearly, they got all the talent in the world. We've spoke about it plenty, but, you know, gambling to get healthy is a gamble indeed. I know Blake Snell is going to start for them this weekend, but it should be a fun race to the end. I really cannot exaggerate how important I think it is that this bullpen got to where it got. The addition of Mason Miller, it really changes everything, in my opinion, when you think about the starting staff, what it's going to do for all that, and then the 2 bats from Baltimore. It to me was an absolute, I don't want to say steal, because A.J. Preller, I mean, people are laughing at me. A.J. Preller gave up a ton. Let's make no mistake about that. But I am such a firm believer of a guy who's been able to reload over and over again. A guy who seems to find shortstops. Everyone's worried about Leo Dallas DeVries. The entire Padres roster is shortstops. He knows how to find a shortstop, okay? I just think it's the move to make when you look at the window, the reasoning, all of it. I know not everybody agrees with me. In fact, Padres Twitter was on fire today and this morning. I just think overall, I love having a GM that's going for it, John. I love being a part of a franchise that wants to openly showing that they want to win a World Series. We know that has not been the case for a long time. It's exciting. Enjoy it instead of hating it, okay?
Yeah, I agree with you, Jake. You've mentioned once, he addressed every need. And it's very frustrating when the team you're following or the team you're a fan of doesn't address a need that you think they need. AJ addressed every need and then some. Also, after the morning trade, bringing in Mason Miller, a lot of people called it blockbuster. I thought that was a little bit too strong of a word, but what I will call blockbuster is the day the Padres have had. I don't really consider trading prospects away a blockbuster trade. Getting Mason Miller, rock solid, no doubt about it, and he's controllable, so it's a good deal long term. But when you talk blockbuster, a blockbuster day for him to fill all the needs. And also when you look at the pitching staff of the Padres, they were known, the bullpen was known as the 4 horsemen. Well, now you got 5 horsemen. And Jake, as you alluded to earlier in this show, a starter needs to go just 4 innings now. You get a starter to go 5 or 6 innings, holy mackerel, it's going to be a party in the bullpen as guys just have to get 2 or 3 outs each.
And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but John, it's such a recipe for October. Like you get into the postseason, these 3-5 game series, the wild cards in the DS, and all of a sudden you have that bullpen to deploy. It is the recipe for winning in October. You honestly watched the Dodgers win a World Series a year ago doing it. So the Padres are kind of taking some of those notes in doing what I think, was part of the mistake a few years ago. And now I think they bolstered the offense. It just felt like a really successful day as far as the trades go. And everyone wants to break it down. Hey, did you win? Did you lose the trade deadline? Did you win? Did you lose this trade? We're not going to know for years and years and years, and that's easy to say. But again, I think the fact that this is a guy who's going for it, I don't know. To me, John, it's like trade away all the prospects you want. Let's go for it, man. The hope is those guys turn into something good. This is proven talent.
No doubt about it. I think one final thought. Mike Schilt, can't wait to see how he juggles this lineup, gets all those bats into the rotation, and it's going to be interesting to watch how he handles this pitching staff. Don't be surprised if starting pitchers get yanked a little earlier than usual, knowing that he's got that depth in the bullpen. So I can't wait to see how Mike Schilt handles all the new talent. Going to be very interesting to watch.
And one other note on the Mason Miller trade, because it was the marquee trade for the Padres, is the fact that this guy came into the league as a starter and then was converted to a closer. He throws 104 miles an hour. But the Padres very realistically could try and convert him back into a starter, up his trade value a bunch. It's something that I think is likely for him. Obviously, they won't ask him to throw 104 as a starter, but it's a guy that you could really, convert back. And that's another thing that A.J. Preller did so well, aside from the Baltimore guys. So many controllable pieces, right? Everyone wants to worry about everything that happened with the prospects. At least he got controllable pieces. You know what you can do with controllable pieces when you're out of control? You can trade them again, John, or you could trade them early. Like, I think the sky is falling for some people in the fact that this farm system is now so depleted. There's not a single person that's going to be out there on the field in Lake Elsinore. They'll be just fine, okay? They'll reload it. It's an exciting time, I think. Any final thoughts on the Padres? We do have the wild card standings. Let's throw those up while you give some final thoughts here, John.
The one final thought I was going to say about giving away so much of the farm. Okay, he gave up 4 of the top 17 prospects. Well, by my math, that leaves 13 prospects out of the top 17 remaining, and there's probably a greater chance that 4 of those 13 remaining will do just as well as the 4 that were traded away. You're right, Jake. When it comes to prospects, go ahead and trade away what you need to get what is going to be needed to win a World Series championship. The wild card, as I talked about earlier, Padres currently hold the final spot. And if I'm not mistaken, at the All-Star break, maybe only had a half a game lead over the rest of the teams, but they've moved ahead. 3-game cushion, but forget about the cushion in the wild card lead. I think all of us, after 21 players being involved in 5 trades by A.J. Preller, are looking for the division championship and knock the Dodgers off the perch.
Yep, and look, we're sitting here with rose-colored glasses because a lot of things were great for Padre fans today in a sense of the team right now. And, 4 of those top 17 players that we were talking about prospect-wise were traded in that Mason Miller trade alone. Obviously, he cleared out more than that. But to me, I just feel comfortable in the guy that seems to him and his staff been able to reload plenty of times. And, in my personal opinion, it's like wild card's now the low bar, right? Go for that division. See if you can't get it, the highest wild card you can be. But the man had a heck of a day addressing all the holes on what we think were the holes in this roster. Let's transition real quick. We'll wrap up with a little bit of football before we touch one last time on baseball. But we have to mention this, right? Antonio Gates is headed into the Hall of Fame, the halls of Canton, Ohio, this weekend, which will be August 2nd. And he is just one of the all-time greats. He's a San Diego Charger legend. Before we get to this sit-down interview, John, your thoughts on 85?
Oh, gosh, the best of the best. I mean, he goes down. What I love about his story was that he did not play college football. And sometimes when we talk to these athletes as members of the media, It's just ridiculous how talented they are. I mean, Antonio Gates goes to Kent State playing basketball, gets his team into the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament, doesn't play a lick of football in the college game. He's told by NBA scouts, you're too much of a tweener. So he says, okay, I'm going to try out for football. Yeah, as a 22-year-old or however old he was, has a tryout with some NFL teams. The Chargers pick him up as a rookie free agent. And after 16 years in the NFL, he's one of the best tight ends in NFL history. So, and not to get too down the rabbit hole about how good these guys are, Drew Brees was an amazing golfer. We had him on our Beat the Pro golf thing. He's dropping it 10 feet from the pin, and then we play a charity basketball game, and Brees is hitting three-pointers, like there's no tomorrow. So Gates, a quality individual as well. He always said yes to interview requests. He's got that $1 million smile, and couldn't happen to a better guy. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday's ceremony and watching him be inducted.
Yeah, and on top of all that, football's back. How about that, NFL today, Hall of Fame game, at least today as we record. Chargers playing the Lions out there in Canton. You mentioned everything I would just reiterate about Antonio. The stats say it all. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame from a football perspective. He is a Hall of Fame person. And earlier, a couple months ago, I think, Karthik Venkatraman and I went up to Los Angeles and got a chance to sit down with Antonio Gates, and he is just one of the best. Enjoy.
Future Hall of Famer. I won't have to use that much longer, Antonio. Future Hall of Famer Antonio Gates with us. I know you've been asked a bunch about it, but let's start with the Hall of Fame. Just what does it mean to be entering the Hall of Fame later this year?
Man, I'm still wrapping my head around it all. It's just an unbelievable honor, man. You talking football heaven, essentially, and so many guys who paved the way for a guy like myself to come and play this sport, the NFL, and I can't say enough about what it means to me and my family, and we're just excited, man. And again, I still haven't wrapped my head around it all. I think all the adrenaline rush will come when I get on that stage and I get in Canton, Ohio, and I get to say I'm a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
What do you think that moment will be like for you when you're up on that stage and you have to give your speech and you're thanking everybody that's meant so much to you in your life?
I try to, I know it's going to be a tough speech because I think when you think about the Pro Football Hall of Fame and you think about the football and you think about all that, and to me, I think about the journey, what I had to go through and who was there along my side through it all. It can get a little tense, it can get a little emotional. So I think that's really my space, if you will. I'm just trying to make sure that I thank the people that was there throughout it all. And it's just a journey, man. It's an unbelievable journey, man. You can't script this kind of journey, man. A guy who played basketball and made that transition to play football, and with the help of so many others, the staff, the players, and friends and family, to me, it's my way of saying thank you to them. It'd be my opportunity to thank all the people who helped me along the way.
You spent about 95% of your career in San Diego as a San Diego Charger. When you think back to that city, that fan base, what does it mean to you when you look back at those memories that you had there?
Oh, man, it's the funnest times of my life, man. You talk about the true diehard fans. And it's funny because we always hear about what and them rooting for us and what they mean and what we mean to them, but they have no idea on how we feel about that, that San Diego fan base, man. We love them so much, man. So many times they've got us through games and the energy, and I remember just the energetic space of being at the stadiums and things of that nature. I am a San Diego Charger, just so we're clear. And now we're in Los Angeles. So it's just one of those things where I will be forever a San Diego Charger, and I think that's something that everybody would know.
It's going to mean a lot to a lot of people right there.
Yeah.
They got to get that bust of you, right, for your Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they've been working on it, man. They got to get this head, man. They're just trying to shape this head. I don't know if they got enough glue and clay and stuff to get this stuff going on, man. So we'll see how it goes.
What's the process been like as those days lead up to getting everything set for that day?
Oh, man, it's like campaigning, man, if that makes sense. Again, man, it's just such an unbelievable honor. And I can't really put into words. It's like one of those things where you have to go through it to really understand it. Dealing with so many different circumstances and people that's, congratulating you, and players and the new young players. It's just unbelievable. I'm glad to represent this organization, man. I'm glad to represent the Chargers, and I will forever represent the Chargers in the right manner due to the fact that I'm being able to go into the Hall of Fame.
You're such a man that lives in the moment. What advice would you give to somebody, just life advice, I guess, that's wanting to have that perspective you share?
Well, I just think, when you put everything in perspective, whether or not you're playing the game of football, whether or not you're in business, whether or not you're a parent, your father, your husband, whatever the case may be, I just tried to be the best version of myself every single day. And that may look like so many different things to a lot of different people. To me, that was just making sure I showed up every single day and got tired. It's very simple to me.
Antonio, appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, bro.
Can't wait to wish you the best going into the Hall, man.
Not to be a name dropper, but that was pretty fun to see LaDainian Tomlinson and Sean Merriman in the background. One thing about the Antonio Gates era here in San Diego, it was just such a bummer that he and LT and Rivers / Breeze didn't get to the Super Bowl because they had the talent, especially the 2016, going 14-2.
Yeah.
And usually you need that quarterback, that receiver, and that running back. And they had it, but just couldn't get over the hump. But still a ton of great memories for the San Diego Charger fans back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no doubt. And it kind of feels like, in my opinion, that Gates will be the last San Diego Charger to get into, like, the Rivers thing's kind of borderline for me. Maybe he gets in, maybe he doesn't. But to me, it's like Gates, and that's, we've had that conversation a little bit, but like Gates is the last, no doubt, San Diego Charger. Breeze will get in, but he's a Saint, right? Like, he's going to go in as a Saint. So it's, to me, feels like the last official San Diego Charger that will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I hope 17 gets in. I would love to see him, but enjoy this one because you don't know if another San Diego Charger, and you heard Antonio say it himself, will grace the walls of Canton, Ohio. Very happy for 85 of the Chargers. And let's final thoughts on what was just a wild, wild trade deadline day. It's officially in the books by 13 minutes. Now, some deals could technically come in late that were processed before 3 o'clock, but it seems like the Padres are hanging on to Robert Suarez. They're hanging on to Dylan Cease, and they are going for it in the strongest of emphasis to say that they're going to do it. And, John, I'm not going to lie. I know we're a little bit hyped up because it's all happening right now, but I feel great about what this team has done. I felt like they went from fringe playoff team, a team that maybe does a little bit of damage in the playoffs, to an absolute World Series contender.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they were a borderline wild card team. You take away their hot start, 14-3, and they were sub 500 for the most of the first half of the season. And so something had to happen, and they've gotten some performance since the All-Star break, and now they've added all this in areas of need, and absolutely, they go from a playoff team to, I think, a championship contender. We'll see what happens. It's got to play out. But AJ doing a great job at the candy store today, filling up the dish.
Yeah, and of course it's got to play out. You know what I mean? Like, even if the Padres don't go on to win a World Series this year, be grateful you have somebody that's trying to do it. That's for sure. And look, this has sparked a ton of conversation all over the place. Please jump in that conversation in the comments here on YouTube, on our social media channels, CBSA Plus. Just reach out to us. We want to talk as much trade deadline as possible in the final 50-so games of the season for the Padres, headed into the playoffs, hopefully. Man, should be a lot of fun. Until next week, when we have a little bit of time to breathe, we'll talk about the rest then. Enjoy the rest of your time. We'll see you next week. John Howard, send him off.
All right, final prediction. Padres pitching depth is too much. They win the division and knock the Dodgers off the perch.
Look how much his mindset changed. Let's go. One day.